Is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The genuine, the original. Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
We're so grateful that you make the Gashouse Gang part of your day. It's like automatic. You know we're there at noon every day, Monday through Friday. All you got to do is flip on the radio. Boom! We're right there for your lunch break. And thank you for making this thing roll with Bernie Miklasz and Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Yes, I said Bernie Miklasz. He is with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What's up, Bernie?
Man, I'm just trying to keep up with everything, and I'm not joking. It's the most wonderful time of the year. We're trying to keep track of the Cardinals and the baseball's off season. We're trying to keep track of the college football playoff and the transfer portal and coaching changes. We're trying to keep track of the NFL playoffs and coaching changes there. What else am I forgetting? I mean,
No.
it's just we're just going bananas in terms of sports right now.
Everything's going crazy. I just got out of a meeting where we were talking about the winter warm-up and the baseball writers' dinner and everything that's happening with the Cardinals between now and spring training and getting to spring training. And then I dropped if Indiana wins Friday, I need off Monday so I can fly to Miami.
Yeah.
By the way, the next day, I forgot about the next day too. Yeah.
Hey, and I left the Blues out. I mean, they're improving. You know, I wrote a column about Joel Hofer on STL Sports Central. They're only a point. Well, as of yesterday, they're only a point out of a playoff spot, which is kind of ridiculous. But at least they have an opportunity to surprise some people. I doubt if they will, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. The Colorado game, that one bothered me, Bern. I saw that game. You know, the back-to-back wins were awesome. I'm glad, but they didn't look like they belonged on the same ice with that team, and that was a downer for me. And you know, it was a reminder how good that team is and how far apart those two teams are.
I'm with you, bro.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm out of it today.
Dude, so
No,
let me reset. Dude,
I'm out of it.
I'll pick you up.
Ranji, you're overwhelmed. You're overcome.
It's just
You are mentally and emotionally filled up with the idea that your Chicago Bears will defeat the Green Bay Packers.
That is true.
Bernie, I haven't moved on to it yet. I'm beside myself after the FCS championship last night.
Do you want me to give everyone just the short story? I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but the short story is Illinois State battled back in this game. They were getting beat early. They battled back. In fact, this game goes to overtime. I'm going to skip over the regulation stuff.
Yeah.
They get to overtime. They score. They
Score
get
first.
the ball. They score first.
Yep.
And they go up 34-28 on Montana State. A 10-point favorite, by the way, maybe 10.5.
10.5.
Really good team. They go up and they get the extra point blocked, and I believe that was the third kicking mishap.
Well, the other one was the kick that would have won it with just over a minute left.
Yes.
On 4th and 1. They chose not to go for it on 4th and 1. It is. I'm going to say this right now, and I told Amy this. In my sports fandom, I think it's the most devastating loss.
Wow.
I can't. The Iserman goal, pretty bad. This one was really bad.
I'm sorry,
This
man.
one was really bad because I don't know that they'll get there again.
That's the thing is that,
You know?
I know
this
that's
was
the feeling
this was
that you
it.
have.
They had it right in front of them. At any rate, I can't move on to Bears Packers yet.
It's
I think
okay.
I need a day.
It's okay. And just so to finish the story, like Montana State won the game 35-34.
Oh yeah, then they
on a 4th
Bernie,
and 10.
Bernie, these guys, come on, man. They're getting pressure all night, and you know what they do? They decide 4th and 10, Montana State, 4th and 10, as Tom said. ISU goes zero blitz, and they just loft the ball into the end zone. Guys wide open to catch it. It just
Well, my condolences. But does it make you feel any better when I was reading some people that I think are very sharp when it comes to sports wagers?
Yeah.
And their advice emphatically was to take Illinois State in the 10.5, which your boy did.
You did. Thank you, Bernie.
So
thank you for believing.
I wish they would have won the game outright,
Yeah.
but I cashed.
Attaboy.
So
Attaboy.
There's that.
At least they came through for somebody.
Justin wants to know if we've seen the article from Buster Olney about Donovan and Arenado. I haven't. What did our man Buster say? I don't know. Did he say anything out of the ordinary that other than what we already know, that both of them are being shopped and they haven't been traded yet?
Well, I haven't heard anything.
Well, I mean, we had Heim on Sunday. Heim did tell us that he acknowledged, said it on the record, they are still looking to find a home for Arenado. And both sides know that, and they continue to try to move him. And nothing has happened yet. As for Donovan, I'm sure they're getting a ton of calls. And Bernie, I mean, you got to expect that Donovan is the highest value of anybody you could trade at this point. And he did say, while he is always looking for pitching, Bernie, I did find it interesting. He said if they started the season with this rotation, he'd be okay with that.
So let me give you this part real quick. You're wondering what he wrote, what Olney wrote, and this is what it was. And he's talking about the Washington Nationals and Mackenzie Gore. He says other teams believe Brendan Donovan. He writes Brandon Donovan. But other teams believe Brendan Donovan is going to be dealt by the Cardinals, and it'll be really interesting to see if St. Louis eventually just opts to release Nolan Arenado, given the decline in his performance the past couple of years, the saturation of the corner infield market, and the fact the Cards are in a rebuild mode.
Well, number one, Chaim Bloom has been adamant, and I would even say forcefully adamant, that they will not release Nolan Arenado. Now, could they change their mind? Yeah. But what Buster Olney is speculating on has been shot down, at least to this point, and pretty strongly by Chaim Bloom. As far as Brendan Donovan, I mean, with all due respect to Buster, who's been a friend of mine for decades, love him. There's nothing new there. What? Yeah. We all believe they're going to trade Brendan Donovan. So thanks anyway.
Yeah, and Jesse Rogers adds that the Arenado market is moving slow. And again, none of that is really new. We knew that.
Right.
Sorry,
they're two of my favorite guys, which is neither here nor there. But see, that's the problem with this offseason. While everyone's waiting for the big fish to land, the Tucker and Bellinger and a couple pitchers, all these Bo Bichette, everyone's waiting for the big fish to come to shore, and everyone's waiting for the Cardinals to make their next move. What we do is just recycle this stuff over and over and over again, which is okay. But let's just not present it as if it's some new information when it's not. That's all I'm saying.
But
right?
here's the bottom line, guys. It's January 6th, okay? And there's a lot of time between now and spring training. It just, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I have this gut feeling they're not going to be able to make the move at all, and that he's still going to be here on the roster when the season starts. Maybe that's wrong, but it's not outlandish to think that Arenado is still playing for the Cardinals in 2026, at least to start the season. And maybe he ends up getting off to a pretty good start and they can find a home for him in the middle of the season. I don't think that's an outlandish possibility.
No, I think you got to consider that as something that could happen. I see the odds are against it, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. And Tom Ackerman, the one thing about Nolan Arenado, I got an email from a friend of mine who's well connected, and he knows all the people that do all the performance stuff, Driveline and such. And he said, I don't rule out Nolan Arenado having a quicker bat this season because he's doing a totally different type of training this off season. So just keep that in mind. And I said, thank you, because I'm intrigued by that. I'm skeptical, but I'm intrigued.
I am too. And, I do go through the possibilities. What do the Cardinals need the most? And, they could use that right-handed bat without a doubt. They could use a right-handed bat in the outfield. They have a guy in right field who hasn't been able to make the connection yet in Jordan Walker. They could use that right-handed bat. I think they'll be shopping for that. I'm stockpiling pitching as much as possible. I'm going to get high-level prospects if I can, not your top prospects, but high-level prospects. Just keep the pedal down. I'm okay with moving Donovan if you can get the best deal. Have these teams work against each other. Also, I do think we need some clarity on Suarez and Bregman and some others, just see where the second base, third base market goes. And then you don't have to rush here if you're Heim. I mean, you can wait a little bit longer. It's going to be okay. They're going to end up, getting what they need.
Two things. Cardinals, by my calculations, pitchers and catchers report to Jupiter 35 days from now. That's a long time in the baseball world. And the other thing is one of the greatest trades in the history of the franchise was consummated in spring training of 2000 when Walt Jocketty gave up basically nothing to get Jim Edmonds from the Angels. So everybody just exhale. This isn't the NFL.
Kent Bottenfield, Adam Kennedy, right?
Yeah, the baseball universe just kind of moves a lot more slowly than other sports. And we were joking last night on the Rush Hour, Wheels and Paulie and myself, that because people were, rushing in the comments about, I can't believe Chaim Bloom hasn't done more, blah, blah, blah. And I told Wheels and Paulie, I said, what, boy, did I miss the big press conference and Rob Manfred announced that the regular season is actually going to start like January the 20th? I must have missed that.
We want things now.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
We all want things immediately. We want things now. We want it now.
Let me stick up for the people though. On this one,
please.
And I think this is a it's a buildup though. Yeah. Like the reason there's impatience is because this has been going on for a few years now, where the writing's been on the wall that the organization's headed in the wrong direction. That's why people want something to happen now. I mean, it's not prudent, and we get that, but it's not just this one off season. It feels like multiple off seasons that they have been building toward this point.
Well, yeah, and I don't blame anybody. Let me clarify. I'm not blaming any fan or anyone if they're impatient because they want to see some stuff happen. But it's one thing to want to see something happen and you're kind of chomping at the bit a little bit to see it. All right, what's next? Come on, let's go type thing. There's a big difference between that and then, in effect, being critical of Chaim Bloom because nothing else has happened yet. Those are two different things. So I would stick up for the fans who are just restless and impatient, but I see no reason to defend fans who use the fact that they haven't traded Donovan or done anything else yet after the first two moves as somehow this means Chaim Bloom is failing, because that's an absurd, ridiculous, completely unfair suggestion.
It is irrational,
right?
Yep,
that part is true.
Right. Whether they make moves or not, the winter warm-up is coming in 10 days. They start on January 16th. I'm sorry, the 17th. They're going to do Saturday, Sunday this year, not a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There will not be a Monday winter warm-up. It's a 2-day event now. Saturday, Sunday. The caravan goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But the warm-up, which I went online and looked because we have our schedule set now, we're going to go Saturday from 10 all the way until Billikens pregame at 2:45, and then on Sunday we're going to go from 10. Sports on a Sunday morning will be there live until 1:45, which is women's Billikens pregame. So that's a pretty good chunk of our airtime will be there. And so I was looking at all the autograph schedules. Got pretty good lineup. A lot of alumni coming back. A lot of Cardinals people are going to be there signing autographs. Ozzy's going to be there all the way down. So it should be a fun scene over there regardless. But I do think some moves happen between now and then. And that's kind of when they can introduce some people and try to figure out what they've got moving forward. Because once you do get out of the warm-up and you start to move, you do want to have some sort of a plan in place for Jupiter. But like Bernie said, you can make big trades. That, of course, was different time, 2000. Walt Jocketty was wheeling and dealing. They're trying to win a championship. This is more building for the future. But I think the same thing applies. And there's no rush here. No rush. Just find out what's the best thing you can get for Brendan Donovan, and then make that deal when the time comes. And Arenado, who knows? I mean, I don't know what happens there, but I do think Suarez-Bregman has to happen before things get settled. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and have a little bit more on baseball, but we will talk. There's a lot to do here. Football, we got to get Ranj back, and we'll talk NFL playoffs. I'm starting to get antsy here. We're just 3 days away from Indiana, Oregon after I celebrated the Rose Bowl victory. It's time to play again. And you know who the best basketball team in the state is, right? That would be in the state of Missouri, that is. St. Louis University. They play tomorrow night at VCU in a monster game for them. If they get through that, they should be nationally ranked. If they don't, keep an eye on Mizzou. Nice win for them over Florida. We'll talk about all of that at the back half of the show. By the way, tomorrow we're going to go even heavier on the college football playoff. It's a big week of football and baseball and hockey and basketball. It's all coming together. It's the Gashouse Gang. Back after this.
Okay, we've got the chips, the fancy cheese, the sparkling cider. Oh, and I need to fill up the tank on the way home.
Look at the cart. We haven't even hit midnight yet, and you're already blowing your save money resolution for next year.
I'm not blowing it. I'm being smart. I'm using Upside.
Upside? That cash back app?
Exactly. I just claimed an offer, and just like that, I'm getting cash back on all these groceries. And I'll do the same at the gas station. It's how I earned an extra $250 this year.
Wait, $250?
Yep, that's extra cash I can cash out to my bank or throw onto gift cards to my favorite spots.
Download the free Upside app and start earning cash back now. Use promo code POP10 for a $10 bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code POP10. Make your resolution easy this year. Download the free Upside app today and use promo code POP10 for an extra $10 bonus on your first purchase.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer.
He's amazing.
Sounds just like Neil.
Rock and roll to get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
This is Scott Bakula. Congratulations, KMOX, on an amazing 100 years. And thanks for always being a voice we could count on.
Welcome back. Our visits with Bernie Miklas, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer, with Chris Ranji and Bernie. I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers, Matt Pajeski, Frank Ladd. We got a team of people here at KMOX that are part of the Gashouse Gang, which has been a fun run. I think we're celebrating a little over a year. We started out as a little streaming operation. Look at us now. Just look at us. 1 hour show that I think is the perfect length. I think people really have enjoyed this lunch break. Thanks for sharing it with us. I am back from being in a daze, Bernie. I am focused on Oregon. I'm ready to go. I'm laser focused. I got the film out. I'm breaking it down. And I see matchup. I heard this on national radio recently that the matchup is the Indiana offensive line against the Oregon defensive line, and I disagree. I think it's the other way around. I think what Oregon has to figure out is how do you keep that Indiana defense away from Dante Moore, because that was the problem. The first play of the game out in Eugene, they sacked Dante Moore, and that's how the game got rolling for Indiana. I think it's a great matchup. I think both teams are actually better than they were back then, Bernie, and it's going to be a heck of a battle on Friday between those two.
In the first meeting, first of all, keep in mind the Indiana defense actually held Oregon to 13 points because they scored one touchdown on a pick six. I don't see Oregon scoring much more than that because they can't run the ball against Indiana, and then Dante Moore's they're going to have to protect him a lot better. The only chance they have is if they learn something from their failures to protect him in the first meeting, and they make the adjustments that will protect him a lot better. In the first meeting, they sacked him 6 times. In all of their other games combined, in the first meeting, they allowed 6 sacks, talking about the Ducks. In all their other games combined, they allowed 10. They got 20 pressures on Moore in that game. The rest of the way, the other games, they gave up an average about 7 pressures per game. The pressure rate against him was in the 40s. He had 2 interceptions. They had him discombobulated. And so what happens in the rematch? What did the Ducks learn from that beatdown, and can they adjust? I think that's really what it comes down to. And if Oregon can't run the ball, it's just going to put Moore in some really bad situations. But I really like Indiana in this game because there's no reason not to like Indiana in this game. I think Oregon's a tad overrated, just a tad. Not Alabama overrated, but just a little overrated. They were impressive in beating Texas Tech 23-0. But I'm embarrassed to admit that I had no idea that the Big 12 was so soft because Texas Tech has no offense. And you can get away with it down there in Candyland football, where it's like powder puff football. You can get away with it down there. You ain't going to get away with it against Oregon, and that's why Oregon was able to beat up on Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Like Ackerman, you being the resident Hoosier here. I don't mean like St. Louis Hoosier.
Yeah,
We're talking like Indiana Hoosier. What's your level of concern? Where are you at?
I feel good. I think that it is going to be a close game. This will not be a blowout, but I feel confident in a close game that Indiana has the right pieces to do this. They have the defense, they tackle, they don't really let things get out of hand defensively. The offense has such a strong running game. They will have to be careful. They're not going to be Alabama. You talk about soft. Alabama's soft up the middle. Oregon is not. Oregon has a big defensive line. So you do have to be a little careful. You can't be reckless just running into this wall that Oregon has. You're going to have to be a little more creative running the football than you were against Alabama. Against Alabama, they just lined it up and pounded it. They won't be able to do that against the Ducks, but they've got the quarterback to make the big plays. They got 3 NFL wide receivers that all can make the catch. And they have a coach who knows how to manage a game. I mean, not that Dan Lanning doesn't. He's great. He's the next big star in this game. But Cignetti right now is the best coach in the game. And, he has a team that will win this game late. I think it'll go down the wire, kind of like the Ohio State matchup.
16-0, huh?
I think they'll be 6-0. They'd be 15-0.
No, but to end the season, they would be the first team. What major college football? I believe I saw the number. If they win out, win the championship, first 16-0 team since the late 1800s.
It's just crazy. And when I think about the other one, Bernie, when I look at Ole Miss and Miami, I think about the SEC fans just in general. It is just such a negative conference all the time. Like, why would they not right now be celebrating Ole Miss and that story and how awesome they are? All I hear is Bama this, Georgia that. Why don't we have more teams in there? I mean, just have some fun. This Ole Miss team is fun. I mean, it's a great story. It really is. I'm not sure they win the game against Miami, but they might, and that's going to be a fun one too.
I think it's a bitter time for SEC fans. And listen, I'm an SEC fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to disassociate myself from being an SEC fan, but I'm also not insane. And they're having a hard time, recognizing or accepting the fact that it's a whole new world in college football, that the Alabamas of the world, the Georgias of the world, whoever else you want to name in the SEC, LSUs of the world, They no longer can stockpile a surplus of really, really, really good players because players aren't going to commit to them just because they're a legacy program just to go sit on the bench, right?
That's right.
Now you have Indiana swooping in. You have all these different programs swooping in. You had, Ole Miss swooping in, Mizzou swooping in, taking good players away from those legacy programs in the transfer portal. And I'm not going to say it's entirely leveled the playing field, but Indiana and Kurt Cignetti have proven that if you know how to work the portal, you can go from worst to first in a really short time. And the transfer portal and the NL money has changed everything and given programs that have been mediocre or worse, it's given them a chance to really move up in the college football world. And that's why Alabama fans and all these other fans in the SEC, that's why they're freaking out. They don't like this, know?
Right. And I think, Bernie, we're all kind of in an agreement on this, that there could be some cleaning up around the edges on the way the portal works and the amount of players and the timing of when they can decide to jump ship. And you've got some programs that are losing all of their starters all at once, and that's really difficult to get through. However, it is overall good that players have a little more agency in what they do, and if they want to go play for a team that's actually going to put them on the field. And I love the idea of leveling out the playing field so it's not just Alabama and Georgia and Michigan every year.
Yeah,
that's right.
Ohio State. Yeah, I agree.
I was listening to Rick Neuheisel on College Sports Radio, the one on Sirius XM, and he said, his son Jerry is now the quarterback's coach at Northwestern, and Jerry's looking for a quarterback. And he said, "Let me tell you something about it." Rick said, "I'm in on all this transfer portal stuff." He said, "I'm going to tell you something about Indiana. They're walking around with Texas Tech money right now." He said they're just throwing money out there, and the
are you one of the boosters?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The other host said, "How and who's doing that?" Mark Cuban, and he said they are absolutely loaded. I mean, the resources coming out of there right now. So yeah, it's a new world right now. Everybody can do that. You raise the funds. You got the billionaires. You got the people. You can make this happen. So that is fun from that standpoint. Let me say this though, real quick, before we just wrap up on college football. Ole Miss quarterback Austin Simmons to Mizzou. Just so people understand, they did not get Ole Miss's backup quarterback. They got the guy who was starting at the beginning of the season. Now, it just so happens that Trinidad Chambliss is the starter now, but that's because of an injury to Simmons. Simmons is really, really good, and he backed up Jackson Dart as well, and now he's getting his opportunity. He can really sling it. He's a lefties pitcher too. He can. He's a
Cardinals use him.
Yeah, go get him. But he is very, very talented and gets that opportunity. So good for Eli Drinkowitz to get aggressive and go get his guy before this thing goes haywire. I think it's a nice pickup, Bernie. Before we take a break.
I'm going to have to wait and see. When he did play for Ole Miss, the numbers, frankly, were lousy.
Mm-hmm.
His talent is clearly there, but we haven't seen enough of performance from him to make any judgment about whether that talent will translate into a really elite type performance. I think it's a good signing, but I'm going to hold back and, just to wait to see exactly who he is because he just hasn't played enough.
True. Although, he started the year, he went, he was against Georgia State. It was the season opener, but he was 20 of 31 for 341 yards, 3 touchdowns in that first game. Did get picked a couple of times, I will say, though. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue the football conversation, talk a little NFL, and get our man Chris Ranji geared up because we got to get him off this Illinois State. I know, man.
I need to move forward.
I'm sorry. And usually I use a 24-hour rule where I don't talk to you about it, but we have to because we're doing the show. But now we're going to switch to the NFL. We'll talk a little NFL with Bernie. We'll talk a little bit with Ranj. And speaking of the NFL, Ranj.
That's right.
Tell me about FanDuel.
The wild card round is here. As you know, this weekend, one of the really fun sports weekends of the year, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode, which means all customers are going to get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. So each game or each game day during the wild card round, you're going to find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the FanDuel app. You can pick the matchups you believe in, and I don't like betting on my teams, but I'm kind of liking the Bears to cover against the Packers this weekend, maybe even win that one outright. Take your shot on an upset if you want. Build a parlay that fits the moment, and then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. All you have to do is visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nominations for the 2026 Women of Achievement are now open. The St. Louis Area Award is the oldest ongoing program in the area whose sole mission is to honor and recognize the volunteer service and volunteer leadership of women. If you know an outstanding volunteer in the St. Louis metropolitan area, or if you are one, Women of Achievement wants to hear from you. Nominations, including self-nominations, may be submitted now through January 11th. Head to KMOX.com for more information.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from The Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life. Not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, it's a little too nice for my liking. It is 62 degrees here early January. It's sunny out there. We will have a low of 32 degrees tonight.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Our visits with Bernie Miklas are sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer with Chris Ranji and Bernie. I'm Tom Ackerman. It's great to have you all with us on the Gashouse Gang. What a beautiful day. What a great day here in St. Louis. We are downtown, and it's good to be with everybody. We do not have an NFL team downtown. I remember those days. Those were fun. January, getting all riled up for some NFL playoff action. Seems like just yesterday, and it was a long, long time ago.
Tom, January 3rd, 2016. It's been a decade since the last St. Louis Rams game.
And
10 years.
And you'd have to go back way before that for them when they were actually good, because the last
13 years before that,
they were horrendous. Bernie, I look at this NFL playoffs, and I can't help myself. I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I look at the whole thing. I see, just at a glance, and I've watched a lot of football this year, but at a glance, my gut tells me that in the AFC, they're the most experienced. They might not even be the best team in the game they're playing. Jacksonville's awesome, but they're the most experienced team in the AFC. And I looked at the NFC, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, the Rams maybe the most experienced, like 49ers. I think it's open for Buffalo to make their fans' dreams come true. So I'm going to pick them.
Well, they're going to have to get past Jacksonville in the first game. Jacksonville's been fantastic. 13 losses last year, 13 wins this year. Trevor Lawrence has been incredible these last 7-8 games. I think they've won 7 straight and 8 out of 9. He's been incredible. Their defense, a lot of takeaways. In fact, number 2 in the league in takeaways, number 2 in terms of the turnover ratio. The problem for Buffalo is they're a really beat up team, especially, on the offensive line, some other areas. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. And even if it's a close game, their place kicker is hurt, Matt Prater. He was having a hard time in practice this week, just getting enough oomph on extra points. So that could be a factor too. But the biggest factor for Buffalo in this game, under Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, the Bills are 0-5 on the road in the playoffs.
Oof.
And they haven't been a good road team in general. In fact, they lost 3 road games this year, and in all 3 road games, the big factor was turnovers. So they got to show me, and I think a lot of people, that if they can get past Jacksonville, that's not going to be easy. But if they can do it, then the sky's the limit. I'm just not, but man, there's a lot of things where they have to prove stuff in this particular game. You got to win on the road in the playoffs or you're going to be toast. It's as simple as that. You can't, the number 1 seeds get to stay at home. That's a different thing. But teams that have to go out on the road, they're obviously going to have to win on the road. So we'll see what Buffalo can. I love watching the Bills. I want to see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl, but that team is not as strong as some other Bills teams we've seen in recent years. That's all I'm trying to say.
You're right about that, but it does feel like if they're going to do it, this is the year for them to do it because for whatever reason, they just can't get past Kansas City in the playoffs, and there is no Kansas City in this playoff. And the problem for them, I think, is I would fully expect the Chiefs to be right back there next year. Them missing out this season, that ain't going to happen again. I'll be stunned if it happens again. They still have the best quarterback in the world. Josh Allen in this playoff might be the best quarterback left. Might be the best quarterback standing. So to me, if they're going to do it, this is the time for them to do it, and I would not count on next year. So this would be it. However, you're right. They're banged up, and this is not their best team, but this might be their best shot.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but that also applies to other teams in the AFC. It's not just the Bills. New England's because the Chiefs are out of the way, it opens up things for New England. It opens up things for Denver. It opens up things for Jacksonville, Houston, which has got the best defense in the league.
Yep.
So a lot of teams have that opportunity they probably were blocked from because of Mahomes and Reed. It's not just Buffalo. The AFC is so wide open, which I think why it's going to be a great playoff in the AFC. I was looking at a percentage of probabilities to win the AFC championship, and there's a bunch of teams stacked up on the runway that aren't separated by much in terms of their probability percentage on winning the conference championship. That's why it should be really exciting, and we're going to have some surprises.
You're right about that. I think that what the Bills do have going for them is he's the best experienced quarterback left in the AFC. Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is there, and he's been playing well. Rodgers has been playing well for a 40-something-year-old, but Josh Allen is still better. And I guess that's why I'm still, giving them the nod.
I love having Aaron Rodgers back in the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers can't move. He doesn't like to get hit. He can't escape pressure, obviously, the way he used to because he's an older quarterback. And his first game is going to be against Houston.
Yeah.
He's going to be at home, but that really doesn't matter. Houston is going to encircle him and trap him, and they're going to make his life hell on that game. They don't even get out of the first round.
Yeah, I don't believe in the Steelers. I don't. The last wild card team to win a Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020, but an AFC team hasn't done it since 2005 when the Steelers did it. You remember that run that they had? The Packers did it in 2010. The Giants did it in 2007. Ravens in 2000. That 2000 Ravens team was pretty tough, as we recall. We have the Bears and the Packers on Saturday night at Soldier Field. Buddy, I got to tell you, it's exciting. Can you get the same sort of magic going, and can your defense find a way to slow Green Bay down so this doesn't come down to a miraculous throw, which, by the way, one of the best throws I've seen all year was out of the hand of Caleb Williams in that game. Unbelievable.
Oh, the DJ Moore touchdown.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It was
I think it's all about the defense. They're going to score. They'll have opportunities. I think they'll take advantage of it. But their defense the last couple of weeks, actually last week, not so bad. But that game against San Francisco, horrendous. Really bad defensive performance. And they started off kind of bad this last game against Detroit. And they did better this time around because the last time they gave us something like 50 points or something to the Lions. So, yeah, I don't know defensively if they're going to hold. This is going to be a close game. I don't see either one of them winning by 2 touchdowns or anything absurd like that. I think the Bears are a better team overall right now. The thing that concerns me is it's still the Packers, and there's a Packers thing, and beating them twice in a row seems to be really difficult for this team. So I'm probably weighing history too much here, but it's really tough to not think about history.
The Packers are really banged up defensively. I mean, they're not going to be anything close to full strength defensively. So this is a great opportunity for the Bears to just put some points up in a way that Green Bay might not be able to match. And from a wagering standpoint, let me throw this in too, because listen, I was kind of startled to see that the Packers were like a 1.5 favorite. Let me throw these numbers out for people who are interested in the wagering angles. The Packers are 6-11 against the spread this season. That includes a 2-7 mark against the spread as the betting favorite. Green Bay is 1-5 against the spread when they're a favorite on the road. I'm leaning real hard to take your Bears. I just want to see some injury updates. But the way that Green Bay is so beat up and as bad as they've been in terms of, point spreads, things like that. I mean, if you're going to give me a 1.5 in the Bears and you're going to give me Ben Johnson on that sideline and Caleb Williams and Luther Burden and everything, I'm just going to take that, have some faith in that offense because Green Bay's not close to being at full strength.
You mentioned the health there, and the other factor is the fact that Green Bay was able to rest everybody that they wanted to rest in the final game because they were locked into the 7 seed, so they didn't have to play anybody. Jordan Love sat. They rested everyone. So that might end up coming into play for them. The Bears tried to go for it, to make sure they won and picked up that 2nd seed. Thankfully, Washington helped them out by beating Philadelphia. But I don't think the Bears are particularly healthy either right now. And I wonder how starting everybody and then having a fairly short week, shorter than normal, how that's going to affect them.
Let me tell you something else.
Yeah. That Packers secondary is really banged up.
It is. You're right.
And they lost Bullard, who was really, really good. They lost him last week. I don't think he's going to play in this game.
Yeah, it's good.
So no, there's just openings for the Bears to exploit. That's all I'm saying, because they're not going to be anything close to full strength defensively.
The Packers and the Bears, Saturday night at 7, first game Rams, Carolina. The trio on Sunday, Buffalo at Jacksonville, 49ers at Eagles, Chargers at Patriots, and the Monday night game, Houston at Pittsburgh. I'll tell you one that you can take to the bank is that Saliga Heating and Cooling is your heating and cooling company. Bernie Miklas.
Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer, even in our house, not only do my wife and myself think the world of Saliga Heating and Cooling because the way they've helped us. We took a photo this morning. One of our cats is laying to get comfortable on a Saliga Heating and Cooling steam heat radiator. So she's like, I love this. This is heaven. I'm going to take a nice nap. So Saliga Heating and Cooling can even make your pets happy. That's how good they are. all kidding aside, we've relied on Saliga Heating and Cooling for the last 18 years. St. Louisans have been relying on the Saliga family for 100 years now. Why? 100% trustworthy, honest, the professionalism, the knowledge, the class when they come into your home. Not going to try to upsell you, talk you into something expensive. They're going to look for the less expensive solutions. They're never going to double talk you. You can ask as many questions as you want. They explain everything thoroughly. You never feel pressured about anything. They're a delight to deal with, and they have history on their side. Because if you've been doing this 100 years and you're still growing your business and people still call you over and over and over again, that tells you all you need to know. So I would just say give Saliga Heating and Cooling a chance. And to find out more about all their services and get the phone number, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Wednesday night as they face VCU. Pregame 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Back on the Gashouse Gang, we got a good 4 or 5 minutes on the clock for Bernie Miklasz and Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. A lot of good stuff. Well, we covered a lot of ground here. Let's get into just some college hoops just for a minute. Give them their love because I really think, Bernie, if the St. Louis Billikens win this game tomorrow, they should be knocking on the door of the top 25 and certainly will be in the driver's seat in the Atlantic 10. It's a really fun team. I mean, if you're just in for the popcorn and the entertainment, which every fan I think is, the Billikens deliver that and then some. If you're Josh Schertz, you've got to tighten up your defense because VCU will run you off the floor or will beat you in a high-scoring game because I'm not sure anybody's running SLU off the floor. They're going to score their points. It's a fun team, Bernie, from an entertainment standpoint, and I think it's a obviously monster game, early regular season showdown tomorrow. Should be really good. No, Bernie's frozen on our screen. Uh-oh.
I think we lost Bernie for a minute.
But I will say that. I think it's going to be a great one tomorrow between SLU and VCU. And then also tomorrow, Bernie, is Mizzou and Kentucky. They play tomorrow. Yep. Same time, 6 o'clock. So Mizzou goes to Rupp to see if they can knock off a Kentucky team that just got it handed to them by Alabama. They'll be ready to go, I'm sure. But that's a great couple of games to watch at the same time.
Yeah, and I think my wireless went out for a few seconds, so I apologize for that. But I heard the gist of what you're saying. I think SLU's a lot of fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to the Atlantic 10 part of their schedule because SLU, with all due respect, this is true of a lot of teams. Their strength of schedule up to this point's like in the 300s, so they still have things to prove. But I love watching them. They're very talented. They can score in so many ways. They're not overly reliant on the three. They can pound it inside. I think they're a really entertaining team, and I hope they have a great season. For whatever it's worth, Ken Palm has that as a 2-point game, SLU and VCU, with the home team coming out ahead, which is okay. It's going to be a toss-up game, so this will be great. The thing about Mizzou, that was a really impressive win against Florida, but I was looking at some of the defensive metrics, especially. Mizzou is not a good basketball team at defending the goal. They're really not. And they also offensively, against a very weak schedule, just a horrendous turnover rate. And there's so many different metrics where you're like, gosh, they played about the easiest schedule that you could put together so far. And yet in so many categories, they're really, really lacking. My point is, I think they have upside, but man, they have a tremendous amount of work to do. But that win over Florida kind of shows you that they're capable of getting, finding a pretty good ceiling if they can continue to get better. That's the challenge.
Meanwhile, Illinois continues to get better. They're moving up in the rankings, 16 both the AP and the coaches poll. And I like to look weekly. I think you guys do too, just to see where teams are, how they stack up against everybody else. And I see SLU down there, 31-32 in both polls. I think you're right. They get this win against VCU tomorrow. You might see them crack a top 25 or just outside of it, maybe 26-27. But they're going to move up a few spots if they start getting some really big wins here. Well, unfortunately, because of that non-conference that Bernie mentioned, they're really going to have to take care of business in their own conference. They have to.
You want a nice little appetizer on Sunday, 11 a.m. tip, Illinois at number 19, Iowa. That is going to be a great test for Illinois. Yep. And I think that Illinois has already proven that they're a great team. I mean, they've lost 3 games to Alabama, UConn, and a Nebraska team that's undefeated. But that Iowa game will be a great road test for them, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. Guys, it's a blast as always. It always is too short, but I think that's part of the appeal because we have more to talk about tomorrow. We're going to get into some more of the Gashouse Gang Wednesday. Bernie will be back Thursday. We do the Friday show as well. Claves is on that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Gashouse Gang on KMOX. Thanks for joining us.